Hi there, it's Steph Evans here from Evans Scent Creations, and today we're going to do turkey knot work. So what you actually do is you take the needle in through the front of the fabric and you have this trailing piece of thread at the back. So I'm just going to put my thumb over it to keep it at the right length for this hair. And I'm going to bring the needle up slightly ahead of that stitch. So there you go, and we secure it with one little stitch. So as you can see, that's nice and taut, that's not going to come loose. And I'm going to repeat this all the way round the hairline. Okay, so I'm going to bring it up just next to where that hair comes out. I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to keep that thread at the right length, and then I'm going to stitch back in along that hairline slightly ahead, and then I'm going to secure that thread with one stitch. So again, I'm going up a little bit ahead, and then I'm going back in through the same hole I've just made. Okay, so I'm going to just bring it up there and back in the hole from the last stitch. And that will keep it nice and secure. So I'll just show you one more time. So I'm going to bring the needle out right next to where that hair is on the fabric. Okay. I am going to make sure it's the right length. And then I'm going to take the needle back through the fabric slightly ahead. And then I'm going to do one securing stitch. So bringing the needle up slightly ahead of where that stitch went in. And I'm going to put, there you go, I'm going to put the needle back in to the hole made by the last stitch. And that will secure that stitch. Okay, I'm going to just repeat that all the way around now until we've got it all covered. Okay, so we've finished using the turkey knot stitch with the 4 strands of thread around the outside circumference of the hair area. You can use more strands, you can use less, but I've found that for this kind of size of piece, 4 strands works really well. As you can see, it does work really nicely, but we have got this blank area in the middle of the hair area. So we're going to fill that central area with long and short stitches. This will give a solid colour, it'll stop the hair from moving and showing a blank area. Okay, so for the long and short stitch, technique is also known as thread painting. It's a really good stitch to use for filling in areas. So you need to work a foundation row of straight stitches, alternating each stitch between long and short. Okay, so I've gone long, short, long, short. Okay. You've just got to be careful not to catch each of those hoops of hair that you've done from the turkey knot work earlier. It's a little bit fiddly, but it's worth it. Okay, so once we've completed that foundation row of straight stitches, the remaining area is filled with rows of these variated straight stitches by piercing through the previous row, and that will give an overlap. And we're just going to keep doing that until we've filled the entire area. Okay, so we've finished with the long and short stitch. As you can see, it's filled it in really nicely. If I pull those threads downwards, it's starting to look like a hairstyle. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to cut through each of those hoops of thread until they are all separated, and I'm going to give the hair a bit of a trim. I'm going to get it up to the right length. I find that by actually cutting it rather than cutting it straight kind of having your scissors on a diagonal angle, it makes the hair look a lot more natural. Okay, so I finished cutting the hair now. I'm just going to give it a little brush. I use a nail brush, but you could use a toothbrush or a comb. It just helps to give it a bit more of a natural look and kind of get it a bit more fluffy and separated from each strand. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to add some additional details of trailing hair by using one individual strand of thread and some really loose individual stitches. I also use these stitches to pin the hair into place because it kind of splays out a bit. I'm going to try and kind of bring it in so it has the natural curve that I'm going for. So I'm literally just going to do big loose stitches. Also like to tidy up that hairline if I feel like it's got any little gaps or anything. So I'm using this as an opportunity to just kind of get that final look that I'm looking for. Okay, so I'm finished with kind of zhuzhing the hair and using the one strand of thread to get it all neat and tidy. One thing I like to do now after cutting that hair is just use some sellotape to get rid of those last little bits of fluff, because the fluff from cutting that tiny little hair just gets absolutely everywhere. But yeah, that's it. I'm really happy with how this one's turned out, and I hope you found that really helpful. But get in touch if you've got any questions. Thanks. Bye.